Hi, my name is Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about a brand new book of mine called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. And the subtitle is Living the Wisdom of the Tao, which is really the Tao Te Ching. And the Tao Te Ching is a book that was written 25 centuries ago, 2,500 years ago. It's one of the longest enduring spiritual texts that has ever been published or put out there in the world. And I don't think that's something that endures that long. Does it by accident. It is been called the wisest book ever written. It's a book about how to live our lives in a place where we can find peace and joy and finding God in ourself and our source in nature rather than in rules and laws and what society dictates. So I became entranced with the idea of the Tao Te Ching. It kept coming to me in many different ways, and one of my beliefs is that when you keep having energy showing up and when you keep hearing over and over again the Tao Te Ching here, the Tao there, that there's a reason for that. So I began to immerse myself in it, and I told my publishers here at Hay House that I wanted to take this great text, which is so difficult and obtuse and sort of paradoxical for so many people in the Western world, and to live it for an entire year. And I would work for 3 or 4 days on practicing it and living it and reading each one of the verses and then going out and writing an essay about it, concluding each essay with something called Do the Tao Now, so that people would have a practical way of going about and applying this wonderful wisdom offered to us by this ancient Chinese man named Lao Tzu, which really in Chinese means old man, because there's no real accurate historical record of precisely who this person was or even exactly when he lived. We just know that the Tao Te Ching survives. The Tao teaches us about how to think differently. First of all, it teaches us how to think in a way that is in harmony with nature, with God, with spirit, that you can find great wisdom in just how important something like water is, or how important it is to observe the way that creation takes place. You can learn a lot, he said, from just a simple spider, and noticing that a spider builds a web from a pattern that comes from within itself. And in the process of doing so, it allows whatever it is that comes to it to land there, and it isn't concerned with what doesn't come its way. The Tao says that we don't need to be in competition, we don't need to be anxious, we don't need to be fearful, we don't need to live lives of hatred, of revenge. He lived at a time of the warring states and was trying to teach people how to find peace when all around you are consumed with killing each other and hurting each other and hating each other. And so he asked us to look deep within ourselves and to find our own nature. And that's the second thing he said, is that everything has a nature, including you, and that you should abandon the idea that you are disconnected from that nature, from that divine place from which you came. So what it does, what the Tao has done, what I have tried to do in Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, is to teach people that no matter how you look at it, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. And that was going to be the original title for this book. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It was just a little too long. So I came down to change your thoughts, change your life. Instead of thinking rigid thoughts, instead of thinking hard thoughts, think soft thoughts. And look for something like water and how water behaves. Why is the ocean, he said, the most powerful force in the universe? It's the most powerful force because it stays low, because it is humble and allows everything to come to it. The Tao says the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that single step, what he's teaching us is to think small, to think about what you can do in this moment rather than thinking big and then getting yourself consumed with never accomplishing anything. It teaches us to be content. It teaches us to be soft. It teaches us to be flexible. It teaches us to have an appreciation and an awareness that the Tao is in every single one of us, and every human being that you encounter, and every being that you encounter, and every plant and every animal and every tree that you encounter has the unfolding of God built into it. Find that truth. Find that truth within yourself. Look to your own nature. Discover that, and you'll have the greatest sense of peace you'll ever have. And I spent one entire year working on this book, living it, practicing it, and I've never been more peaceful, more joyful, and more a sense of aliveness of why I'm here and what I'm doing here. I don't question any of it. I just live in harmony with what Lao Tzu called the Great Tao. And the opening line of the Tao says, "The Tao that can be named is not the Tao." You can't put a name on it. All you can do is feel it in your heart.